folks. Before we go on, I just want to check on some sports stats, keep myself sharp here on the sports, and I'll use my computer and just go in here, and I'm going to check, okay.
Never gets old.
No, I enjoy it.
Love it.
He's gonna check on the sports.
You have to. This weekend, I checked on a lot. Too much dip. Podcast 4. I'm Dave. I'll be steering the ship here. Got the lads in the building. Got Dylan, known to most as Dorn.
What's up, fam? Glad to be here, man. The sports are happening, and I'm
Did you check on them or not?
I checked the sports. I checked quite a bit of the sports over the weekend. I had a good time checking the sports.
Good.
I'm ready to talk about the sports that I checked.
Well, here's a two-step process, right? You check on them, and then you talk about
it.
And we record.
With the lads.
With the lads, the fellas in the building. KJ's in the house. Hi, KJ.
What is happening? Cup overfloweth with sports over here.
Wow, he's got the Kirkland signature water.
Stay hydrated.
He's also got the gun show out today, man.
Jeez, dude.
Put those things away, man.
When you're just like dabbling between the X and the L, and you're just like, whatever. Today, we'll just go straight L. Let them fly.
Speaking of L's. That's not cool.
Michael, what's up?
Hey guys, I was just going to be quiet for as long as I could so that people that didn't like me would be happy that they didn't have to hear my voice. And now I've ruined your day. Hey fam, it's great to be here with you. What a great weekend of sports.
Oh my gosh. No booming loud today.
I had some earlier, but I'm on to a Waterloo sparkling water, which I know the people want.
I freshened up my booming loud, I was going to tell you.
Yeah. I'm glad. I know the people want me to throw this into a trash can. And I might do that for you later today.
Please don't.
That would really put Randy at risk.
Angle's not promising. This is definitely not in your favor.
Just a extreme, risky hook shot.
We strategically put the trash can in a spot where you couldn't easily throw a can into it. So
I was just hoping to do that, and Dave would hit me with a bang. But maybe later.
He probably would.
I mean, I would. I'm not saying I want you to, but if in fact you did, I would hit you with a bang.
What a weekend! What a great day it is.
Big Monday here. We're going to try to move it along quickly, but we all know that that's kind of a moot point. That never really works out for us.
Well, we got a lot to talk about, Dave.
We do have a lot to talk about, a lot of sports, checked in on a lot of them. Before we jump into it, remember to subscribe if you haven't, and also leave us a review. The reviews are good. You got some good reviews?
I've got 3 quick ones here.
Okay.
Here's one from Texas Soldier entitled Built Ford Tough.
Okay.
It just hits different. I'm also putting the Walking, Talking, Podcasting Truck Month in my LinkedIn bio. Here's one from Sinjeth Seth 1 called Covers Hockey Like ESPN. About as much hockey content as you'd expect from a lifelong Golden Knights fan and a guy who played roller hockey in middle school. Great banter, though. And how about one more from ABCS Backward, number 1. If you want a sports podcast that is primarily focused on plugging Instagram handles, you found the one.
It's fair.
Let's be clear. Those are all 5-star.
Yeah. Just a reminder, take 1 minute, rate us 5 stars, leave a review. It does a lot for us, so thank you.
Be honest, say what you want, have fun with it, and if it's good enough, we obviously will read it during the pod, so there you go.
There's one more here, this one from someone calling himself Intern Lewis. It says, finally. The thing about Dave is that it's a VE with a DA in the front. Does that mean something?
I just
he spelled Dave.
His name.
Yeah.
I think he took that little bit, that humor bit, and just applied it to a name. And I don't know.
The thing about humor bits is it's a bit about humor.
Right.
Kind of like
one.
He took that and applied it.
Kind of like music songs.
Yeah, music. It's like
that's
taking
the thing about those.
You know when you take like an equation and you just put it in like something else that has nothing to do with math? I think that's what he did there. It might have worked.
How about one more? This one entitled Dipster. It's from Than Kelly. Is that what we're calling the fans? Dipsters? I'm a dipster. Great pod. MICAHWIENER. And that was my Instagram handle.
How about dipsticks?
Come on.
I'm just reading from the...
Yeah, but you don't have to choose that one.
It's so effortless.
I mean, that's it. There's only 4 available. I read them all.
I'd like to say thanks.
I don't hate... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say thanks to potential Texas Soldier service, whether it be online or in person. And hockey is somewhere on this run sheet. I will say that.
We'll talk hockey. I really, really enjoy hockey. I need to get into it more because I think it's a badass sport. It's fun. I don't know enough about it, man. It's a real shame.
Was Soldier, or was it spelled Soulja? Are you sure it wasn't Soulja?
No, it was not.
Okay. He does follow me on Twitter. It's all I'm saying.
Fair.
I don't hate dipster, like a hipster, but dip.
Nobody acknowledged me saying dipsticks. Dipsticks.
Yeah, we respect
That's
the
what
the listening audience
What
around
you
these
used
parts.
to check oil,
We're
right?
checking the
Dipstick.
oil, man. We're oiled up. We're lube boys.
I like
We're
either.
not.
I like
The
little
lubers.
dippers, maybe. Go with the little monsters theme.
You know your boy's a little monster.
Dippy Longstocking over here.
What do you have to do to become a Big Dipper?
You know what you have to do. They know what they have to do. Like, subscribe, listen, tell a couple friends.
You have to tell at least 2 friends, a cousin, an aunt, and a coworker.
2 non-related references.
It's a 2-step verification.
Mm-hmm. And then call Micah trash for his mentions or for his plugs.
By the way, Micah's Read of the Week, the newsletter, now available.
Micah.
You can find that subscription link at the link in my bio on Instagram.
We're gonna start running people off. Like really.
I'm just
You've
I
already,
thought
you've
there was
already
a nice
plugged
time to
yourself
get
Gotta
one.
twice.
hey, okay. This is where I take control. We got a lot of golf to talk about. We got a lot of sports. But before we do that, let's do something a little different.
Smoke some, bitch.
Smoke something, bitch.
Wow.
2 of the members of this podcast,
smoke.
we smoked this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rib off. KJ,
Yep.
and myself just happened to be doing ribs on Saturday.
Was this a competition? Were you all in the same place?
No,
No.
Did you try each
it
other's
was a
ribs?
digital
Oh,
rib
okay.
off.
Gotcha.
Little digital get down.
And I gotta say, the results will shock you. No, they were actually pretty good. Mine were good. Yours looked really good.
Mine were solid. I was happy with the results I got. I did not sauce mine up, which some people have opinions about it. I went with the 3-rack approach. One, to honor the ribs that I'll eat. One, respect of Adam. One for Maryland's rib that he removed. So went with the
Okay.
Trinity approach. It was good. The father-in-law came over to meet the Bromie for the first time. So
All right.
sent him away with the gift of meat.
The Bromie.
Yeah.
No, bro me.
I like that.
I don't hate it.
I like that a lot.
I don't hate that.
That's got legs.
But I was happy with the smoke sesh. It was good.
Yeah, I noticed you weren't a sauce guy.
No, it wasn't intentional. I do have some Heim sauce I've been meaning to use on something. I'll probably go that route from Heim Barbecue in Fort Worth. And then I'll probably try to make my own at some point. It just was car stuff, driving and whatnot. Didn't get to it.
I'm a fan of the I do kind of a modified 3-2-1. Micah, you're a fan of the 3-2-1 method when it comes to marks.
Yep.
You know that.
I'm the fan of the 3-2-1 method when it comes to anything, really.
Yeah.
Keep it simple,
It keeps
stupid.
it simple.
Yeah.
So I do that. I do like 2.5 hours wrapped up in foil after a kind of a low temp smoke.
Is this a Traeger?
It's Traeger
Smoke?
wood pellet, non-spawn,
He pulled Treg.
pull treg. It's kind of a bit we do here.
You've been doing this bit for years, Dave.
Correct.
This is not something that I've missed.
One of these days, it's going to yield some positive results for this podcast. Yeah, dude, they were good. They were good. I thought KJ's looked better. Your gut shot was better than my gut shot.
Yeah.
My gut shot was a little messy, but I had sauce on mine. I sauced them for like the last 20 minutes.
I was jealous that you did the wise move of going with the right rib to show a gut shot of. I clipped from like the small side of the ribs as a little thin boy. Someone actually in the DMs like, was that actually good? And like was checking if I was being serious or not. And I was like, yeah. This is a 9 out of 10. Picked the wrong rib. Otherwise, solid shit. I don't do the Traeger. Also non-spawn. I use a Masterbuilt gravity smoker. Essentially the same exact premise except for mine's charcoal instead of pellets.
Utilizes gravity to smoke as well.
Utilizes gravity to smoke, exactly. Think about the gravity smokers. But it's flawless. Like 265, 3 hours. Wrapped it for 2. I didn't really sauce, so things were good to go at that point.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Did you guys work the grill?
I didn't smoke. No. My smoker's still out at the ranch. I haven't used it in a long time, unfortunately.
I did fire up the grill. It wasn't a smoking situation. but I did make some outside skirt steaks.
Well, this is called smoke some.
I know.
bitch.
Well, Dave also asked us anyway grill anything, so
all right.
thought I'd hop in here. But yes, I preface that by saying I didn't smoke anything, bitch.
okay.
Clarify to me that you just said you made some skirt steaks outside, and you're not gonna. This better be followed up by some sizzle, because if you're just
Oh yes,
around
yeah,
eating
you know, I
skirt
brought it
steak-
back inside for the sizzle.
Okay.
Simple marinade for the people.
3, 2, 1.
It wasn't 3, 2, 1. It was just 1. 1 part soy sauce, 1 part orange juice.
Ooh, really?
Yeah,
How about that?
just enough sweetness. It worked.
Acid breaks down
salty
the
and sweet.
meat.
It did
I
it
like
all.
it.
Yeah.
Tenderizes a little bit.
And you know, your boy
How'd you
brought
serve it?
inside. I had a bunch of grilled onions. I had some. You know, most importantly, it's Hatch chili season, fam.
Oh gosh.
We did a crab dip, a Hatch chili crab dip Saturday,
shit,
which was
flex.
quite the move.
I went to Randall's, which is not a place I would encourage anyone to go.
They've
ever.
been catching strays on this pod.
But they're doing Hatch chili season this year, and I walked outside and was like, "Hey, you can buy a 25-pound bag and they'll roast you, or a box and they'll roast it for you."
Yeah.
For like $15,
Live
cheap,
action.
much cheaper than Central Market. That'll get you like 6 roasted chilies. And I asked the guy, and he was just pouring sweat, and he couldn't even talk. He was like, "I'm sorry, I've been here all day."
So he roasted himself.
He was like, "Please give me 15 minutes." So I walked around with all of the weird homeless and old people inside of the strange
Come
Randall's.
on.
you were
That's just
patron there.
unnecessary.
It's the weirdest grocery store in America.
It's a
Everybody
nice
knows this.
grocery store. It's not HEB, but it's fine.
Anyway, shouts to the Hatch chili season.
Hey, what? How do you roast a pepper? I've never actually done the process.
There, they probably use the drum.
They've got the
rotating drum,
rotator,
like a
the drum
butane
thing.
torch going. But at home, if you've got a gas oven, if you have an electric oven, or stove, don't do this obviously. But you can just turn the burner on, just like you heat up tortillas on an open flame. Do the same on a pepper,
Oh.
or take it out to the grill if you have an open flame.
It
Yeah.
really makes it pop.
Char the skin. And
Smells
then you want
good.
to be able to pull the skin off of a Hatch chili.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then get after it.
Man.
I'm gonna embrace this while his smoker is like unobtainable, because he's gonna come in here shitting on us and be like, "I'm a stick
No, I'm
burner.
not. Look,
You guys are in here with computers and shit."
I've been out of the game for a while. I have a big traditional
Yeah.
offset smoker, and I don't know all the tricks of the trade anymore. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've used it, so I'm out of practice. So I look, I'm learning over here
Fair.
too.
One day I'll have you over and I'll teach you how to trade.
I'll teach you how to offset
Cool.
like Migos.
It's a quid pro quo. It'll be like the meme where he's looking at the computer. And
There you go.
it's a good one.
Man, that was a really good segment.
It was a good
It
segment.
is a good
right?
segment.
New
It is.
segment alert.
You need the smoking soundbite next time.
Be a real shame
I'm
if-
a little gun shy on the sizzle. It really turned a lot of people
I
off.
was
Rightfully so.
making a mask reference. I know that's one you like as well.
Oh, okay.
It'd be a real shame if you guys brought some ribs in or something sometime. You know,
I can do that.
You
So
did
the-
cook
Yeah.
like 8 racks.
so we can do
I
more than
will,
just talk about them.
I'll
You know
put the
what I'm saying?
vacuum sealer to work and drive those bad boys down next
Just
time.
saying.
I will. I'll volunteer to sous vide them back to life.
There you go.
They used to call Dylan vacuum seal.
Yeah, they did. Can't really remember why, but they did.
All right, we got to talk PGA Championship.
Turn it up.
Let's go.
Dude, I'm so glad you added that.
Turn it up. We had ourselves a major. You guys watched the major? Did you check in on it?
Show did. Did you watch any golf, Micah?
I did. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As we predicted on the show last week, it was. I think I gave it 4 eggplant emojis out of 5. I was very horny for this golf, and it lived up to the hype.
It
Sunday
was-
especially was tremendous.
It was a wild Sunday. Really enjoyed it. At one point, we had 7 guys, I believe, tied for the lead
on the back.
on the back 9. That was fun.
I was super horny all day for
With
it.
some heavy hitters up there too.
How do you guys feel about West Coast majors?
Love it.
Oh, it's awesome.
Primetime golf is ideal.
Yeah,
Love it. Yeah,
I do too.
I would say up until Sunday. Like, granted, yesterday's an exception because we had nothing else going, but finishing off a major at 8 p.m. Central Time is about 3 hours past my time limit for golf time. Like, give me the major up until about 5 or 6 o'clock to where I can go out, grill something, eat some dinner, whatever, after it ends. So that afternoon nap can casually end with the major.
I was about to say, does it interfere with your nap
Mhm,
time
mhm.
slot, golf nap time slot? And it makes sense.
That's true. I failed to get a golf nap yesterday.
But it was
got
pretty
one on
great Friday
Saturday.
night, Saturday night.
You know what? I
Thursday
think
night.
I'm going to co-sign that. It's better the first 3 days, especially Friday and Saturday. And when you're not really going out and doing anything,
True.
You can just sit at home, maybe
To
have
watch
exactly
live golf
beer.
on a Thursday too.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, assuming people go to work in 2020, you come back and you get to watch a couple hours of live golf. Tremendous on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
You know, you have to bump Will and Grace or something off, TGIT, but
Apparently,
otherwise
Below
you're good.
Deck is the show that everyone on this podcast is watching.
Messy. So
What are we
messy.
watching? Are we?
I mean, you should be.
Okay.
It's a good show.
How much about Colin Morikawa were you guys aware of prior to this? Because me as golf idiot, I will fully assume nothing, but
Awesome collegiate player.
where at?
Cal.
Okay.
I just knew him as like an up and coming young guy who had serious game and like a really easy golf swing, like a very fluid. The guy's got serious game.
So there's the
He's
knock
also
on
got
him.
stones.
Also very likable.
Big nuts.
Very likable guy.
Big old
Yeah.
balls. And his knock was occasionally got a little loose with the putter. I think at Memorial, which he ended up winning, he missed, I believe this is at Memorial. He missed a shorty to win it and ended up going to a playoff. Pretty sure that's accurate.
Yeah, he did lead the field in putting this week, though.
Mm-hmm.
He got it
He's
together.
clearly did something different. He's not a long guy, but he's long enough. He's an iron player. He's a ball striker. He's your favorite golfer's golfer.
Going into Sunday, do you think your opinion about him was better or worse than Brooks Koepka's opinion about Colin Morikawa and the rest
Brooks,
of the field?
it seems that Brooks was unaware of his existence going into Sunday. Which,
Apparently, he's never heard of Dustin Johnson either.
it's
He knew that he had only won one.
I pull for Brooks in a lot of ways. I just like he's a content guy, and I respect the self-aware douche, which I think he is. But it was good to see him go out and lay a turd.
Yeah, he had a birdie putt on number one, and then basically was never on the broadcast the rest
They
of the
dropped
day.
him
Yeah.
on the second
Yeah,
hole for
a very-
coverage.
For me, a very satisfying 4-over yesterday.
The
after-
second worst final round of anyone in the field.
Yeah, I just
That's tough.
I mentioned this on Circling Back this morning, but he seems like he's just trying way too hard and going out of his way to be a heel, just to be like the bad boy of golf. And he's inserting these comments where they don't really belong. And to go after guys like that, I don't know. I just think he's an absolute dickhead.
What was his general comment? I mean, I knew parts of it because I saw Rory's response.
So
which I
after
definitely hit.
Saturday's
Yeah.
round, where he played well, his game was feeling good. He was up there near the top of the leaderboard, and he just asked general post-round questions, and he mentioned like looking at the leaderboard and basically not being afraid of anyone who's on the leaderboard and saying, well, DJ only has one major.
Mm-hmm.
He has 4. Speaking about Koepka. And just basically saying like, I don't really like, none of the names on the leaderboard scare me. And he felt good about his, which it's okay to say you feel good about your own chances, but to go after DJ like that, I don't know. It just seemed totally unnecessary.
So everybody kind of thought they were boys because they're both, workout guys, and I think they both kind of put off
Kind of
party
meatheads.
Meathead. They go to they're gonna be at Buford's
Yeah.
on West 6th on any given like Friday or Saturday.
They're bros.
They're bros,
Yeah.
to use a word that you hate.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what they are. He did an interview a couple weeks ago, maybe it was earlier in this week, where he said that was kind of a media creation. He said that they weren't really, him and DJ weren't that close. They were never buddies. They worked out at the same gym, but like he's like he went out of his way to make it sound like he doesn't hang out with golfers. He doesn't practice with golfers. Like when he's back in Florida, he's not doing the money games with a lot of those guys because that's a big deal. A lot of those guys, they all live in the same part of Florida.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, why does he go out of his way to isolate himself? It's weird. Like you've won 4 majors. You have nothing to prove.
So in there, I guess he said something about having a rivalry with Rory. I guess in that same interview or comment was made because I saw Rory's response to it all. And Rory's like, yeah, I mean, basically said the same thing. It just kind of seems unnecessary. And then he identified or he isolated the point about DJ. And he's like, has 21 wins. That's 3 times as many as Brooks has in his career.
That's right.
He's also doubled his career earnings.
Yeah, exactly. So
So-
it's like, I know you've got 4 majors, which I guess Brooks's point about Rory was like, it's not really a rivalry because I've been around, 5 years and Rory hadn't won one of those 5 years. Like, again, unnecessary douchiness. I will stay team, thick DC. But It just seemed out of line.
Rory is never afraid to say what's on his mind.
Yeah.
Which is great.
That's why I like Rory too, man.
Yeah, but Rory doesn't take shots at people like that. I mean,
No.
if like he'll give you a straightforward answer if the question is posed, but he won't go out of his way to take shots at guys like Koepka.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Koepka.
To go out and not back it up
That's
is
unclear.
egregious for his brand.
I think
brand
that's-
took
no
a
one
hit.
saw that coming.
And I think
everyone-
that's really where we
Yeah.
are. DJ didn't light the world on fire, but I think he shot 66, and Koepka blows up and goes 4 over. So, if he was playing some sort of weird mind game, that didn't work. It's just cheap and lame. He deserves a lot of shame and ridicule.
Yeah. I felt bad for DJ because he's been second so many times. And,
Purse is still good.
I mean, he's getting paid. He'll be back on the boat with Paulina probably today, which, hey, shout out to him. But Morikawa was a great story. That drive on 16, the drivable par 4, is iconic. That'll go down as one of the
Unreal.
greatest shots in golf history.
unreal shot.
And just the fact that there was no crowd. I mean, can you imagine if there was a crowd? Like, if you got to witness that shot? Like, that's so sick.
If there was a crowd, it changes the whole dynamic of the tournament. He might not be at the top there. You don't know.
Paul Casey had a quote about that. Paul
Yeah.
Casey, and I think Jason Day, too. Jason Day basically said there's some guys who can't win a major because of the crowd. It gets in
Walking
their
up
head.
to the 18th tee box on Sunday of a major when you're like have a shot to win with the crowd there has got to be one of the most nerve-wracking things in sports, right?
It would have been safe to say that would have been a big playoff yesterday for
Right.
sure. Like maybe Morikawa wasn't fully out of it, but
Yeah. I'm not.
he
yeah.
might have dropped 2 strokes easily.
I don't mean to discredit Morikawa. The guy is
Yeah.
awesome. I'm very happy for him. He very well could have.
But there's a reason we
Could have
haven't seen
won,
many
yeah.
23-year-olds do this.
Yeah, it changes everything.
He did have a couple awkward moments right after winning. Not only the trophy falling apart on him, which
Yeah.
I put that more on the Wanamaker than on him, but I don't know if you saw the interaction with he and his, what I guess was his girlfriend right after.
Did she go in for a high five?
So there was a situation where he went in with like for a hug and a kiss. She had her mask on, and then somebody next to her kind of leaned in and whispered something. So clearly they have a protocol of not having the big like embrace, which you would imagine they're on the same quarantine situation.
Yeah, he probably mosted last night.
Because he backed off and went for a really awkward high five, and then like they were
Then
just
he's
sitting
like-
together by themselves out on the curb, waiting on their parents to pick them up.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Well, he went for the high five, and then he went in for the half hug.
Yes.
He did like the friend, like, oh, you are a girl who I am
That's
not
interesting.
attracted
I wonder
to.
if he was instructed to not. Do
Somebody
the full
said
embrace.
something.
Yeah.
It just was there. There has to be some rule, but I haven't watched enough, walk-offs to know if we're not getting the Ricky Fowler keeps coming to mind, but it's not Ricky Fowler. No, Brooks's girlfriend who like ran up. And,
Jenna Sims.
yeah, jumps up and like hugs him after he wins, or has done so. I don't know.
I think it's worth mentioning a couple things. One, there were a lot of young players that had strong showings.
Yeah.
So perhaps we're seeing a change of a guard.
Well, that's been happening.
Matt
for
Wolf
a
went
while.
low.
But I mean, this one, yeah, Wolf, Scotty, what is it, Scheffler
Who's a
from
Longhorn?
UT, yeah.
Highland Park.
Cameron Champ hits the ball a ton.
God, he looks Highland Park too.
Yeah, my pick, John Rahm, still a relatively young guy, finishes T13.
What's wrong? 26?
I think that sounds about right. But Morikawa goes 69, 69, 64, or 65, 64. It's pretty fucking
incredible.
good.
Big
And
nuts.
he almost made that putt on 18. If he makes the putt on 18, he wins. He goes from being tied with 6 other dudes to winning the tournament by 3 strokes over the course from 14 to 18. Just stones. We've seen a lot of majors recently where dudes hold on or other guys give it away. He went out and won this thing. It was really impressive.
So I had a financial interest, a big boy stack to be clear, on Tony Finau. I got him last week at 45-1, which was very nice. And so my viewing was skewed and potentially ruined by the interest there. Because I happen to like Tony. That's probably why I bet on him a lot. I mean, I know there's obviously more to it than that, but I always like betting on guys that I like. I know that's a stupid strategy, but it makes watching it a little bit more enjoyable. And he was tied for the lead at one point. He came out and went birdie, as did Bryson. Which, by the way, that's a fun group
Oh yeah.
to watch. Like,
Yep.
just a couple guys, piss missile city over there. His shot on 16, the 3-wood, I thought that might be his career defining moment. I'm like, this is your chance to go get it. You're either 1A, 1B, longest player on the tour right now. And he just wiped it. I guess he just wiped a 3-wood to the right of the green, had to chip up and have like a 30-footer for birdie. But that was a bummer. Betting on golf sucks, man. Especially when you're not seeing every shot, because it's impossible for them to show every golfer's shot. And with so many names in the mix, the star power was there. So like I'm like trying to follow it on the PGA Championship app, the shot tracker thing. It just wasn't. I may not bet another major.
Did you have any feelings about CBS picking it up on Sunday and how they covered it versus the first few days on ESPN?
Yeah, CBS was CBS.
Making comments like the game is in such good hands with these young men who are role models, and that.
Boy, they showed that marine layer way too much. Like we know what it looks like. That's cool that you have footage above the clouds. Like that's very impressive. I don't know if we need that when you leave for a commercial and when you come back.
Goodyear's got to get their money's worth though.
Yeah, and then they did a better job of like when Amanda does the interviews, the post round, like showing golf during that. I cannot stand when they are just, let's talk to a guy who is, let's talk to Spieth about like why he was trash all weekend. And meanwhile, there's like, stuff going on the course, going on.
You don't need to see it live.
No, you don't.
Come back to it if there's something notable.
Yeah. So CBS is CBS. I mean, that's golf Twitter's pretty much, they chirp them every time they have a tournament. And I think for the most part, rightfully so. But they did an okay job. ESPN was great. SVP was good. I think he deserves some credit. They did a good job.
Yeah, the coverage, it's become a thing on Twitter to complain about golf coverage. It's like a golf guy thing that people are doing. It doesn't seem that necessary to me. The coverage is good enough for me. I don't know.
I'm just glad they had Top Tracer on there.
Yeah,
For
I feel
golf
like
idiots like me, like if you don't have that, then I'm a little pissy.
It's really better than it was like a year or two ago. They have the Top Tracer on more shots. They've at least figured some of that out. Nance, I could go without. I agree with you. I'll take Van Pelt over Nance every day of the week.
Well, they just show more golf on ESPN.
It seems like they do, and so many more commercials on CBS. But as we mentioned, there's really no point in complaining.
Right?
They're not going to change shit.
Well, we were actually texting about this yesterday, and those guys are aware of the criticism. I think Nance did No Laying Ups podcast a month or two ago, and you've got Joe Buck, who's done No Laying Up a couple times, who when they were doing at Fox when they had the U.S. Open, he was texting the No Laying Up guys like, how's it, does everything look good? Are we covering it well? Like mid round. So it's like that gets to them. So I don't know if it's ever going to change it with CBS. Probably not. CBS just has a template that they stick to, and they throw in some golf in between their little montages.
AIG commercials.
And AIG. Oh my God. Dude, I'm sorry for all the financial advisors out there catching strays from me on Twitter, but AIG just set y'all back 10 years.
One thing CBS did do though is put Phil in the booth.
Yeah, thoughts there?
Phil?
A lot of people were super horny for Phil. I feel like he would get really annoying. Like the novelty is cool. He's a good change
in
of pace
small
back.
doses. I think he's pretty good to have in there. He can't carry a whole broadcast though.
I don't want regular Phil. I want, like, for lack of a better term, power plant Phil. The Phil that is in these insane 1 minute Twitter videos where he's talking about just hitting missiles and drinking optimized coffee and doing the insane shit he does. Like, I really don't want him talking about a 9-footer in a calm, casual way. I want him just being an insane 53-year-old psycho. Maybe I'm the only one here.
No, I like that. I just think so. He gets in there, immediately makes a joke. Faldo doesn't get it. It's awkward off the rip. It's just like painful to watch. I've got secondhand embarrassment, and I tweeted out, I was like, "Get Phil out of there." And it wasn't so much because I thought Phil was going to bomb. I was just like, I can't deal with this lack of chemistry, and the little bit of chirping back and forth with him and Faldo. It made it awkward. But a lot of people were wanting to see Phil in the booth more. I don't know.
It'll take time, I think. With anything, even if he's got something that people are going to want over a big period of time, like it's just going to take, like you said, chemistry is key there.
Yeah. If he wants to come in and talk about his optimized coffee, though, I'd be happy with that. Himalayan pink salt. What else? Oh, cinnamons and natural anti-inflammatory.
MCT
People forget
oil.
that. MCT.
Fill you up.
It's brain fuel. I got a question for you, Micah. Is college football dead? That's what it says here on the rundown.
That's that appears to be where we are at the moment.
I'm dreading this whole
apparently-
conversation.
Yeah, me too. I don't.
Why are you dreading it?
I want to lay out the facts here, but I think we will all end this conversation and feel no more informed, but knowing that the outcome is likely inevitable.
And by the time we finish recording this podcast, enough new information will surface that this is totally outdated. Because when we sat down an hour ago, I feel like the narrative has already changed.
Mhm.
Apparently, the Big Ten presidents are meeting at 5 p.m. Central today. So, within 48 hours, I think we're going to know. The two top headlines on ESPN.com right now are Trump supports players advocating for fall season, and Harbaugh advocates for fall football, cites, and in quotes, it just says facts. Because Harbaugh's statement gave no actual facts.
He also
He
had
just
a-
said, "I support facts."
He also
Okay.
he also ended his letter, his note. It wasn't in the notes app, but it should have been with a Theodore Roosevelt quote.
It was good. There are also a couple typos there. And then the third headline, sources, Power 5 talking about no fall football. So, again, 48 hours from now, next week we'll have a better idea, but none of it's good, and I don't like it. And if they're going to seriously punt to the spring, I'm okay with that. But then there's the school of thought that there's no way they're playing 2 football seasons within a calendar year.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know how that works.
To
But
lay out, I guess,
I don't
what's happened over the last week or so since we've last touched on this. The lower tiers of NCAA, Division II, Division III, FCS, and then whatever D3 is also called, have basically all come out and said that they're delaying until the spring. They're not doing any fall sports. They haven't explicitly said that they're doing spring football, but they're saying they're not doing fall. Ivy League was probably the first 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then we talked about the Pac-12 letter from all the players and their list of demands last week. Well, sometime last night around 10-ish o'clock, we get a similar collective hashtag we want to play and hashtag let us play united voice from Trevor Lawrence amongst several other college football stars. But that was in reaction to the fact that there were rumors of the Big Ten meeting, like Micah said today, to discuss delaying and or canceling the fall football season. Why did that happen? Well, the MAC came out last week, of all people. Shout out MACtion. First on the week, first in your hearts. Bowling Green's AD was kind of the leader in the clubhouse there of saying the states in which the MAC lies in. Ohio, Michigan. I want to say they've got a presence in Indiana, Ball State's in their conference, and a few others, maybe Kentucky. I think in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee is also MAC. So that whole swath of the country is just beginning to heat up with more and more cases. The Big Ten overlaps with a lot of those same states. So while you may be talking about 2 different tiers when it comes to revenue generated, when it comes to size of alumni base, you're still talking about 2 similar state entities within the state and a lot of power being swayed. If you're Eastern Michigan and Central Michigan and Western Michigan, all 3 in the MAC, canceling your sports, but you're Michigan and Michigan State saying, oh no, but we can do it, that's not going to jive very well within the state at a state level. So MAC was the first domino of FBS Division I teams to fall. Then we get the rumor about Big Ten, and then we get all of these players posting that we still want to play. And then 5 o'clock today, we have the discussion.
Micah
Yep.
was hitting us with some DP quotes this morning. It's Dan Patrick.
The sportscaster, not the former sportscaster who's now the lieutenant governor. Different Dan Patrick.
But equal, you respect
He used to
both
be
of
a
them equally.
sportscaster.
That's news to me.
Oh, yeah. This isn't the
Micah
right
hates
podcast.
that guy.
Come on. just
Apparently,
do it.
Trevor Lawrence and 10 other guys got
Justin
on
Fields is a big name.
they
too.
got on a Zoom call last night, and one guy who was on this call, I think, goes to Oregon, is like a design guy, and he drew up he got in Photoshop and drew up the logo or the little thing that everybody shared on social media in 20 minutes. He said he had 20 minutes to save the world. It's a pretty good quote.
Oh my god!
And then
I
at
don't know about that.
1 minute before Eastern, or 1 minute before midnight Eastern time, Lawrence sent out the tweet or Instagram or whatever. So at first,
He mashed
people
that
were like,
button.
"We want to play," and people are mashing that retweet button. And then the next one is like basically like, "We're sort of want a union," and a lot of the people that mashed that retweet button were not so much mashing it
Because
shortly after.
if there are two circles that are further apart, it is the people who are in support of labor unions and supporting labor rights, and those that are real diehard to see their SEC football.
pushing SEC football. Danny Cannell came out. Somebody posted a tweet that he had there was a series of tweets where he's like, "I'm so glad these players are making their voices heard," and then like 2 tweets later was like, well, being heard is one thing, but organizing a union, that's something totally different.
Oh my god.
I mean, I will just go on record as saying that, just because 10 dudes got on a Zoom call and said, let's start a union, doesn't mean there's a union forming. So we should probably tone that down just a little bit. This doesn't seem like a major shift, but perhaps it's the start of a big moment. I don't want to get anywhere near that.
Bomani had a good quote, a good tweet. It was like early on. He's like, so now y'all care what the college football players have to say? And I think that's a really good point because, before, especially on the social justice stuff, nobody's like, oh, you're not there for that. You're there to play. And now the roles have flipped.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, we touched on a little bit last week when we talked about how they felt like all of these things were intertwined, of wanting to basically organize to have their voices heard on social justice issues, to talk about getting paid. Now they're saying you need to respect our voices and allow us to play, which is a whole different pivot because, whatever. It's in my opinion, it's not going to matter. Everything that these players are saying will not matter.
Yeah. There's one narrative I just want to strike dead before it happens, which is the everybody knows who's making this narrative argument, but that so much of the college football media doesn't want the college football season to happen, and the joke's going to be on them because they're all going to lose their jobs. That's so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, I can't handle this argument that just because some guy who writes for Sports Illustrated is actively rooting for college football not to happen, and he's going to end up getting laid off, and it's going to prove him right. Like if he stood on a table and said, play college football, it's going to change anything. This virus is taking over the whole fucking country. This has nothing to do with some bozo sports writers.
Nah, man. Facts, not fear, Micah.
I can't handle this. And if Clay Travis wants to come in here and debate me, I will only meet him in a fist exhibition.
That fucking guy.
So you're challenging Clay Travis to a fist.
I am.
And not an actual fight. There won't be a winner or a loser. It'll be an exhibition of fists.
An exhibition of
for funsies.
fist and kicks.
Well, you're undefeated in
Legs.
exhibitions.
That's true.
I think there's something to be said for the schools coming to the table now to discuss whether or not they can play. I think what's bothersome to me is that people are looking at or grasping at straws. The contingency of people are like, let them play. They should be playing. Things are, better now or improving or whatever. That whole contention, I'm not actively rooting one way or another. Allow people to play when it's safe to play. Play or don't. I will support the schools one way or the other. I think that there is a question that goes unanswered, and I think Bomani also tweeted out, or somebody did, is what's the first school going to do when a player dies? Or a person close to a player? Like,
Right.
There's only so many Tom Rinaldi stories that we're going to be able to run on the back of this of, this player got sick, and now we've got to name, an entrance to the stadium after him.
This is setting up for Rinaldi pretty nice.
Yes.
St.
Either way.
St. Louis Post-Dispatch had a story today about a kid who was a freshman at Indiana who got the virus and is now hospitalized. And he could be, they're saying he could be the Rudy Gobert of college football. Like he's the first guy to get it.
Oh, you don't want to be that.
Which is not good.
That's
Yeah.
unfair because Rudy was so much more than the first guy. He was also actively joking about getting people infected before he knew.
But the reality of this is that, like, we've seen dozens of kids at a lot of schools have this. And statistically, if you've got 20 people that have this, it doesn't matter how good a shape they are, one of them's going to end up in the hospital, or two of them's going to end up hospitalized, and one of them might end up dead. And now we've got Rinaldi. It's just, it's not great.
The risk is there. I mean, I don't want to get into the waters of all of that as much as like the part about whether or not we're going to have college football. I don't think any of us can sit here and answer the question. We may or we may not. We'll get back to you on that. We obviously hope that we will.
Check back next week.
We will have a lot more content to discuss. But the discussions that are being had now, I guess what I put the consequences of one spring season, like what dominoes fall if we just say we're pushing everything to the spring. If you're Trevor Lawrence and you're, potentially the number one pick, I don't care how, Tim Tebow diehard you are for college football and your brothers. Are you going to be skipping all of combine season and draft prep to go out there and play for, reason? I don't know. And then I see Joe Burrow post that if had this happened last year, he probably would still be, trying out for a job.
Right.
So what are the consequences if you move to a spring season, both for players and then, I could care less about the revenue. The money will be made and made up.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that no one's hit up the big baby drip god to see like what he thinks about it.
It's true. What does this mean to the largest 12-year-olds in America who are going to miss a football season?
I mean, he's still
What
going to
what
get
is this gonna
recruited
do for his
but-
development?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go out there and actively create tape for these guys to look at. I don't know. I just wish somebody would think of him and the rest of the high school athletes out there.
What do you think Mel Kiper's doing right now, Mike Mayock, when they're seeing the lack of game film just disintegrate before their eyes? Like, that's their, human lubricant.
Boy, that is the toughest of scenes for those two.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But
Again, this is one of those things. Maybe it's because it's developing so rapidly, and I'm getting most of my knowledge from Twitter and Micah. But I don't really have a good, strong opinion either way. I think Trevor Lawrence said this. There's a lot of players that if they go home, they're going to be worse off because they come from bad situations, and they're going to be able to be more health conscious.
Like their family stuck with medical bills.
Yeah,
and all that. Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know how true that is. I mean, I know that's a part of it, but it's just there's no great outcome here. I feel like unless we defeat the invisible.
The players
enemy.
find themselves in a position of power for the first time and maybe forever, which is a really interesting dynamic. And I don't know. It's going to be kind of wild to see how the chips fall on this one.
Yeah.
But they have a serious bargaining chip. We don't obviously there's some outspoken saying they do want to play, but there are also guys that we're not going to risk it. We don't want to play and of course, we got all the terms that we laid out last week. It's an interesting season.
Has anybody at Texas spoken out?
Not that I know
I
of.
saw Charlie Brewer.
they were
Baylor
sticking
Bears
to
own.
star players, I think.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Talking about stars, though, let's say they push football to the spring.
Yeah.
And we don't get Trevor Lawrence and we don't get the 10 best players in college football. That doesn't bother me at all.
there will be 10 new ones who are maybe not as good, but it's not going to matter.
College football is not a star-driven sport necessarily.
I don't need Trevor Lawrence in uniform to make me enjoy a college football season.
That's where I am.
Yep.
And if that means we have one very strange season where they play in the spring, I'm all for it. Even if it means we don't have any first-round talent guys. Who cares?
I think it's where everything everyone pushes about college football every single year comes back to bite you in the ass. That we always, the royal we talks about how it's so much more than the game. It's so much more than the players. It's the tradition. It's the pageantry. It's everything else. And not one person has come out and had a cohesive thought of this is what football will look like in college sports. They're oh, well, this school, this conference, this team will do this. It's all been so fragmented that you could have pictured the NBA bubble and there were concrete information about what it would look like. Same thing with hockey. As bad as baseball's plan has shown itself to be, you understood what it is. I couldn't coherently tell you what the NFL's plan aside from to say, oh, basically baseball. Kind of the same thing. In college, I don't know. Michigan came out and said they've had 353 tests and nobody's tested positive over the 8 weeks that they've been together. But that's Michigan. Okay, what about Michigan State, who's shut down their program and sent their players home? Maryland's done the same thing. And it's there's no, unified approach to how they're handling it. So I don't think there's anything people can push for aside from, oh, shit, let them boys play.
Yeah. Yeah. Have there been any has anyone tried to grandstand politically with this yet? Local congressmen.
Oh, I thought you were going to start at the top.
Congressman Jim Johnson,
Oklahoma?
From Ohio, the guy who was the wrestling coach.
Also the Midwest. Oh, yeah.
He was going viral.
He's the guy that Ted Cruz was championing to wrestle somebody in like an exhibition on his behalf. It was
Then
really
Kamala passed.
He tweeted out something like "America needs college football," and he's been quote tweeted a lot.
Trump
since then.
Trump tweeted it like as we started recording.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just says play college football exclamation.
So
Did he retweet a pro labor tweet? Did you tell me that?
yes,
earlier?
that's what the headline said.
He
Jeez.
retweeted Trevor Lawrence's call for like, respecting the player's common voice or something along those lines. I don't know. There's more to come on that. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't want to burn up our whole day on college football, but
It's getting
But I don't wanna cut
more
you
and
off
more
if you got-
interesting.
No, that's. I mean, I wish I had more to say intelligently, but I don't think I do. If
Yeah.
I had anything to begin with, I would like to talk NBA. A little bubble talk. You guys good with some bubble talk?
All right, get your Lucas stuff out of the way, Dave. Let's go.
I don't know if I need that. I feel like that's
I'm
you're
just kidding.
torpedoing me. I mean, look,
I'm just kidding.
he went off. He went off. They're playing right now. He's sitting.
Talented young man.
He's 21. Just keep that in mind. He went off against the Bucks,
number one defense in the NBA.
number one defense in the NBA. Some people are like, "Oh, well, the Bucks don't have anything to play for," which that might be true, but they did sure look like it in crunch time. They didn't. It's not like they were saving Giannis or anything. He played till he fouled out, right?
Luka goes for 36, 14 rebounds, and 19 assists in that win over Milwaukee. Dylan, do you know how many times somebody's put up a 36, 14, and 19 line in NBA history?
I
One.
assume it's not many. Oh, okay.
One time. Luka, that's the list. He's averaging 33, 11, and 11 in 5 games in the campus.
So that seems good. They're 2-2. They're
Bubble
pretty
ball
much-
bad boy.
They're 5 games in. I think they're 3 and 2.
This is their 5th game today.
Oh,
They are. They're pretty much. They've cemented the 7 seed. So
Yeah.
they're probably getting the Clippers. I know there's an outside chance that Denver overtakes the Clippers, but that's not a good matchup for them. It's honestly the worst matchup.
yeah,
for
you don't
them.
want the Clippers.
The Clippers. No one wants them, but the Mavs really don't. They've never looked good. There's never been a close game with the Clippers, to my knowledge. I went to one. The first Luka game I went to was against the Clippers, and they were just Kawhi and Paul George. That combo is just too much.
Mm-hmm. And I think, looking at the teams that are going to be leaving the bubble here soon, Pelicans, Kings, Wizards are out. Sixers are in a bad way. They just got banged up. It's going to very quickly get down to like the top 4. Well, actually, the West is going to be interesting, like 7 on up. But the East, you're going to be seeing the Bucks sweep the East essentially, or they're going to run into the Raptors, and that's what everybody's going to be waiting on. The question I wanted to get at here is a lot of talk was made about when LeBron went to the West. Generic ESPN question here of if this Dallas team had swapped positions with Atlanta, are we talking about a LeBron-esque decade out of Luka? Sans, he matches up well with the Bucks, so I wouldn't even say that the Bucks would stop it. Like
That's interesting.
10 years of dominating an entire conference and going to finals, if that were the case.
Are you saying that we won't get that now with them in the West? What are you trying to say, KJ? Do you not believe?
I'm saying there are teams that we're about to talk about that will pose an interest. I don't want to see Luka have to play against Kawhi, Paul George, and then Pat Beverly behind that.
I don't want anything to do with Pat Beverly because Luka already has enough. The referees get under his skin enough. I don't need Pat Beverly out there like
Jeez.
busting him up.
Modern day Bruce Bowen.
Oh
Can we
my
get to
God.
some of the bubble beef that's happening?
The bubble beef? Great segue.
Can I just read this? I took this from Black Sports Online. Shouts to Robert Littell.
BSO.
Yeah. Here's the headline. Damian Lillard's sister Lene tells Paul George he got, quote, a stripper hoe pregnant. PG's girlfriend, Daniela Ratchik, calls Dame's sister a fat cow. The short version of the
not
story
nice.
is that Dame missed a couple of clutch free throws, costing the Blazers a win against the Clippers. Pat Bev and Paul George clowned him for it during the game. Dame, after the game, said that Paul George and Pat Bev were just mad he sent them home in the playoffs. They then replied by saying the Blazers are about to go home themselves, and that caused Dame to say Paul George was a team hopper and a chump.
Running from the grind, I believe. he said.
Then things seemed to calm down, but then Dame's sister Lene went on AG to take shots at Pat Bev and Paul George's girlfriend. It's quite a scene. And it should be noted that George's girlfriend was indeed a stripper, and they have quite an interesting story about how they ended up as a couple. Nobody else is covering this. Like,
What's that
TSO.
story?
It's best not to get into it, but check out Black Sports Online for more.
Okay. That's quite the tease.
Yeah.
Are you saving
There's
it for Micah's
video-
read of the week?
No, I linked to the
I think
video, but
Micah's
it's not
read of
really
the
worth
week
getting
is-
into.
Micah just reading the lyrics to WAP line by line.
Micah reading rap lyrics is a whole nother show.
Man,
Can we get Randy to read that live on live stream? Just the lyrics to WAP?
well,
Someone did
we
that.
could pretty much get him to do whatever.
Some podcast did that, actually. I think it was probably a Barstool one.
Oh, well, there
They
you
did a
have it.
dramatic reading of WAP.
There you
I'll
have
out
it.
myself. I have not listened to WAP yet.
Do you know what WAP stands for? W-A-P?
I've got an idea.
Take a guess.
Wet
Correct.
Mm.
ass
You're correct again.
party.
Yep. There it is.
Dude, I knew it. That's sick, dude.
Dude, I'm throwing a wet-ass party for it if you want to come through.
I love a good. Better than a dry party. Hey, whose side are we on this? I don't know. I love any of the NBA drama. NBA is the best league by far for this stuff.
I'm with Dame because Dame is just balling in the bubble too. Like he is
He
hitting
is.
crazy 3-pointers. He's almost like taking like Steph Curry kind of shots now, where he's just playing with unbelievable confidence, falling left, falling right, firing 30-footers.
To his
Crazy.
point, he did send the Rockets home when they had Pat Beverly
Mm-hmm.
with just the most everybody's seen that courtside view of him hitting that three
and then waving to him.
and then waving to him, and then against the Thunder sent Russ and Paul George home.
I'm Team Dame here. I like the guy a lot. I don't have a problem with team hopping though. Like that, it's you get if you're good enough to control your destination and which city and put yourself in the most advantageous situations. Why not do it? I don't know.
See, this is Dylan's way of saying he's going to the ringer.
You know what I mean though? Like if you can control your own destiny, like this is your career you're talking about here. If you want to decide which team you're playing for and where you reside,
and he did. And to be fair to Paul George, he didn't say, "Please move me to Oklahoma City."
yeah,
Like he
Right.
did get a
Yeah.
trade out of OKC,
Like, if
and I
OK
wouldn't blame him because it's not a great Midwestern city.
if
Right?
OKC drafts me out of college, right?
It's a good town.
I don't feel like I owe my life to Oklahoma City. If they didn't pick me up, Portland would have, or Dallas would,
Right.
someone's going to pick me up.
if you worked for Xerox and they said you're going to go to Indiana, you're moving to Indianapolis, and you'd be like, okay, I'll go spend a few years
What a
there.
terrible state.
And then they're like, guess what? We're transferring you to Oklahoma City. You'd be like, send my ass to L.A. I need
Yeah.
out of here. And
like,
so
dude
you
wants to
can't be
live in
mad.
LA. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't mean that. No offense to anyone in the state of Indiana. Sycamore
Right.
State's a proud Midwestern, part of the breadbasket or something or other. Sorry, Randy.
Who cares?
But yeah,
I agree with your reasoning, but as it applies to Luka and the Mavs, like
I do respect when people will play their careers
Jimmy D,
in one
Dirk.
place. I think it's cool. I really do.
I will say that people like Harrison Barnes are the people that I will hold above either party. The ones that will, whether they get traded, signed somewhere, whatever, but immediately like entrench themselves into the communities and like full blown ride, do charities, whatever. Not saying you've got to go and give back every single place that you go, but like what Harrison Barnes did in like the short 2 or 3 years that he was in Dallas
yeah.
really blew my mind.
Even after he had left,
and
he
yep.
gave money to something local.
I can't recall, but he was there to donate to like the children of the police officer families.
Yeah,
In that era, and then stuff 2 or 3 years later, Amber Geiger stuff.
That's right.
It was
you know who
posted
else
about.
left a
John.
legacy? Chandler Parsons,
dude.
who goes into a
original
new
CP.
city and really he
He
left.
donates in a different way.
And I imagine when he returns to Dallas, he continues to donate.
He brings the drip. I'm sure.
Well, he's okay. He's rolling with Manziel now.
That's bad. That's
Yeah,
bad.
I don't know if that's the move.
He had that bad car accident where like he got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh, I didn't know.
I think
this.
I think he's okay, but like I think it was very scary. Let's see here. I didn't even see this Draymond story. What did he say on Inside the NBA?
Oh, this is the tampering thing?
Yeah.
Devin Booker.
I saw the clip. He was just like, Devin Booker's got to get out of there, and maybe he should come. I think he said maybe he should come play with us, but I think he just said like he's got to go play for somebody else.
Suns are 5-0, right? Like
They are
They're the
5-0 in the
hottest
bubble.
team in the
Yes.
bub. I call it the bub.
It was a weird thing. The clip seemed it's inside the NBA. Like you should be allowed to say anything you want there. That show is not a very serious program. It's my favorite show, but it's no one should be fined about what they say on that show.
50 grand. I
Yeah,
know these
$50K
guys,
in
I
a
know these
second.
guys
It's
make a lot of
literally
money,
like a
but
10-second clip.
That should be like a safe space.
NBA,
That's right.
like TNT's got to cover that. I would imagine.
Yeah, they probably do.
I'm sure that they're like, all right, hey, we're getting enough replays out of this, whatever.
Was he on there with Chuck? Because they legitimately
Yes.
don't like each other.
They've squashed their
They
beef.
squashed it.
Well, on set they have. Who knows if it's
On set.
Yeah.
Yeah, Draymond strikes me as the kind of guy who doesn't squash beefs easily.
JaVale McGee's not going on there anytime soon. I can tell you that much.
Oh, I missed that.
I missed
Or
it
it was
too.
Shaq.
Well,
and
Shaq
JaVale.
is clown JaVale McGee for.
not Barkley, but yeah, Shaq would put JaVale McGee on Shaq and a Fool
Oh,
every single time Shaq and a Fool existed, to the point where JaVale McGee's mom got involved and was like, talk trash because JaVale McGee's mom played in the WNBA when Shaq was in the NBA. I guess they're kind of familiar with one another, and it just spiraled. Anyhow,
interesting. Anything else on the bub?
I'm still very pro Bub. It's fun. It's fun.
I mean, it's working.
Yeah, it sure as hell is.
It's a lot of fun.
Very into it.
I'm and you guys, I should be applauded right now because I'm not even paying attention to the Mavs right now. Like they're playing as we speak, and I don't have it on another screen.
How about that?
I'm doing nothing but
you haven't checked
checking
the
the
box
run
score or
sheet.
anything?
Nope,
Okay.
nothing, man. We do have some one hitters here. This a new seg, Micah?
Only if you have a new sound effect for it.
Well, let's just run this one back. Kind of makes me want to breeze through some stories.
I thought we're saving that for Run It Back. I thought that's the official Run It Back music.
so I say we're jumping.
We're still working out the kinks here.
A's Astros. You're an Astros guy. Bench is clear. By the way, Rangers with a sweep over the weekend. Back in it. Actually in a playoff spot at the moment.
Astros
Astros have
hit-
lost like 6 in a row, 5 in a row.
I don't know. I don't know that. I know that they hit 4 A's yesterday, and that the guy who's like the main whistleblower on this whole thing is now an A. So the Astros are sending a message.
And is he the guy who got hit twice?
No, it's a pitcher, I think, who was the guy
Okay.
who blew the whistle.
Yeah, there's some backstory here. Dave Stewart made some comments called Astros cheaters or something. Look, this I think is the hitting coach who kind of instigated the thing, the Astros hitting coach.
I read he had a negative comment about Laureano's mom.
He did?
He did basically visibly say, "Bring it to."
This guy's a putz, man. Fuck this guy.
He had the squad in front of him.
If you're going to get hit twice that was intentional, you are allowed to be upset.
Agree.
And you're allowed to baseball, it's full of unwritten rules. There's,
No deep fakes, for example.
yeah.
Rule number 1.
Things self-correct, right? And this hitting coach, I don't know, it's got a lot of problems with the way he did it.
Did you want a Don Zimmer Pedro reenactment at the end of this?
I mean, first of all, why is the hitting coach getting involved like this?
That's usually how it goes. It's a fringe guy.
He had a uniform on. He had to, follow through, feel like he was engaged.
Look, the Astros need to take their medicine. People that are gonna make comments, they're gonna take shots, and they deserve every bit of it. I'm sorry.
Micah.
I agree.
He's
That's
the
how
Astros.
it goes. Blueberry Fago.
I mean, yeah, if you get plunked twice in a game, you're gonna be upset and whatever. But
I do love the idea of just recklessly Leroy Jenkins running into the dugout.
it was awesome.
oh yeah,
I mean, like, it didn't work out.
But nothing like too bad is gonna happen. Like you're
Yeah.
not gonna get jumped.
I think that's
mean,
what you're
it's-
banking on.
Yeah, nothing too bad is gonna happen. People are always going to interject
You just got to
and
hope.
stop it from getting ugly.
You got to hope that there's not like a 46-year-old alpha there to put you in a headlock and then just pummel you.
The only time damage can happen is when a batter rushes the mound and you have about 3 seconds to get shots in. Then everyone gets there and breaks it up. That's it. To sprint at a dugout like that when there are a wall of people in front, a wall of guys in front of you, nothing too bad's gonna happen.
I've always
But
wanted
it was
to see
fun.
a pitcher execute like a spinning back kick or like or something at a guy charging or like sweet chin music. Like,
Wait, didn't somebody try to pull that?
you have my attention.
Yeah, I will have to find it, but I'm gonna say a pitcher from the Dodgers, and I'm not gonna guess his name because it will be interpreted as an insensitive comment.
Okay.
But I will find it.
I would love
there
to
was a spinning.
There's a
roundhouse kick.
famous video of I think it's a minor league game. Some dude gets beaned, and he turns around, he kicks the catcher in the face mask, and then he sprints to the mound to attack the pitcher. Really funny. Probably shouldn't do that, but a funny video nonetheless.
Chan-Ho Park.
Oh, former
Yep.
Ranger, great.
Exactly.
Best contract in baseball.
I'm going to pull that up for...
Oh, I remember that.
yeah,
Okay.
Let me
Good call.
scrub it as we're... oh, yeah, here we go.
Are we going to get to watch this in real time?
Yeah, here you go, in real time. I don't know how much that'll render on...
Oh!
Yep, I remember.
Okay.
That's a full-blown thrown kick, for sure.
I love the idea of a pitcher like getting in like a Muay Thai stance, just like knee up, just checking him.
That's just good.
That's good stuff
That
there.
is good.
Ooh, that's kick to the body, man. That's going to affect them later
Cut-off sleeve
rounds.
jerseys need to make a comeback.
I like that a lot. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to come of this. I mean, I think I said this on Twitter, and I mean it. Like, I feel like the A's and the Astros should basically have to forfeit their seasons. There's not a place for that in the game, despite what Dylan and Micah just said that were
and
valid.
they
The
should,
Astros just need to be thankful that the stands are empty.
that's true.
COVID is the best thing to happen for the 2020 season. I know we already mentioned that, but just take your medicine. You got caught cheating, and now you got to pay for it a little bit. You get to keep your ring. Now you're gonna have to deal with some jeers and some high and tight fastballs.
Let's see. We got Cardinals canceling another series. My prediction early on that this was going to end in like 2 weeks didn't come to fruition, which I'm happy about. I think I came back and revised my take. But what is it? Is this bad? Is this something I should be worried about? I'll be honest. I've been paying more attention to
the Pirates,
golf and basketball.
The Pirates are the series that they canceled. I think what's going to be interesting is how they're going to make some of these up. I know that at one point they're playing like a couple days of double headers of 7-inning games to catch up on some of these games. I just want to see the chaos that ensues from cancellations and having to make them up prior to October if they're teams that actually impact the playoff outcome. So I think it's worth tracking, not really worth being too concerned about. I've got the bracket pulled up for NHL because the NHL is now going into their playoffs.
Stars won a game.
Stars won a game. That secured them in the 3rd seed. They will face Calgary. Dylan's lifelong team, the number 1 seed, Las Vegas
Shouts to my
Golden
Golden
Knights,
Knights.
will be playing Chicago Blackhawks.
Ooh.
We've got the
Storied
Avalanche
franchise.
and the Coyotes. This is also an effort to make sure I know all the mascots. Blues and the Canucks are playing as well, and that's your Western Conference playoffs. I've got no other takes on the East, but Philly, Montreal, Tampa, Columbus, Washington, New York, and Boston, Carolina.
That dude who said that we don't talk hockey or whatever.
Exactly,
and we
that's
don't know
what
you're doing.
that's what we're doing here.
He tried to completely diminish my roller hockey career as if it was nothing, as if I wasn't first team at Redbird Skateland. Dude, we just proved you wrong, man. We appreciate your 5-star review. But
He should know that I also owned not 2 but 3 Dallas Stars street hockey sticks that were delivered by Pizza Hut, along with 3 orange
the
street
wood
hockey
ones?
balls. Yes,
with the
very
blade with no
straight-
curve.
very straight.
I had
blade.
one of those sitting on my windowsill in my room.
Oh, yeah.
True story.
I may or may not have caused my neighbor to get stitches from taking one of those to the back of his head on accident, but it happens.
Damn, straight to the dome.
Yeah.
It wasn't an accident?
No, I think he got in a fight with my brother, and I took a stick and remedied it. It happens. Anyhow,
Wow.
shout out to the
Gonna need
back-to-back
more on that.
the back-to-back PLL champions, the Whip Snakes. Somebody also pointed out that we're not getting enough lacrosse talk. There is the beginning and the end of my lacrosse talk.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I will never have anything to contribute to lacrosse talk.
We'll have Shido on to talk lacrosse. I think he's on vacation or something.
I just learned that there was an actual professional lacrosse league.
There are multiple leagues now.
recently.
Fort Worth's getting a team. Shido explained this, that the league, there's an indoor league and an outdoor league, which I'm pro indoor. Indoor soccer growing up was so much more fun than
Shout out to
outdoor.
Tattoo.
Air conditioning.
Tattoo, let's go side.
Love air conditioning.
Fort Worth's getting a team. I'll support it. I don't know if Austin has a team.
Have you ever been to a lacrosse game live?
No.
No.
I haven't either. At
It
any
looks
level.
dope, though.
My high school did not offer that.
My high school did play lacrosse.
We did too.
And
Must be
No
nice.
I did not play. I was too busy being a varsity baseball player to really pay much attention to
my
that
God.
fucking lame sport. But I will say this:
Oh,
my sister played, so I've been to many of the games. The universal thing for people whose parents watched 4 years of kids playing lacrosse is that no one in the stands knows any of the rules. The game is basically just like nobody really knows what's happening. And the Austin lacrosse community, this many years ago back when I was there, was like the same, like 4 guys. Like we had a lacrosse coach, and he was a real asshole when they fired him. And then he would just be like the referee for all the other games. And then like the guy they hired was the guy who was the referee for the games the year before. So it's a very tight-knit community. So shouts to Shitto.
Is that a tough in-person watch? Because everybody kind of looks the same, and like you can't tell who's got
What do you mean by that?
the ball. What?
Just throwing out bear traps.
Oh. Oh, Jesus. You know what I'm saying, though?
Yes.
Did they do like
Bunch of white guys with sick lettuce sticking out of their helmets.
I mean, it's very
Homogenous.
you don't know where the ball is. You never know what the ball going to do.
Yeah,
Josh
I don't
Allen.
know. I just don't know anything about the sport.
Yeah, I don't either.
And
It's
now
just-
then you'll see like a sick highlight of someone doing a behind the back shot, making it. From,
It looks cool.
from 20 yards.
all the
out,
dudes
it's
I
tight,
know
but-
that played in high school that were supposedly really good, like when I knew them, I was like, "You're not that athletic." So is it just like the guys who were you were playing
because
against?
not many people play the sport.
like the private school Dallas leagues. Like,
Yeah.
there weren't that many athletes in there, and if there were athletes at your school, they were playing football.
When I was in high school, which granted was not recently, I remember like having to learn what lacrosse was. People they started playing it, and I was like, "Fucking what?"
If we were in the
Lacrosse?
Northeast, we probably would know more.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
didn't know much about it at all. I didn't know.
I have a cousin who played field hockey. She was really good.
Oh yeah,
And that's a sport. I don't even.
Shouts to her.
That sounds northeast.
That I'm further away from understanding what the hell that is either. But shout out to the last time I knew lacrosse was like Columbia and Virginia were the big college powerhouses. So whenever that stopped, that's when I checked out.
Hey, who's Marty
I have
Jannetty?
no idea.
Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
Jannetty, who is he?
He's a professional wrestler. He was Shawn Michaels. Are you familiar with Shawn Michaels?
Yeah,
HBK,
kinda.
Rockers.
San Antonio Zone.
Yeah, he was his tag team partner back in the 80s.
Before
the
he went
Rockies.
out and just became HBK that we
The
all
most
know.
famous
Did
Marty
he kill a guy?
He claims he made someone disappear via a Facebook post when he was 13 years old. He claims it's it's a new Facebook post about a story.
When he was- about
he
when he was
threatened
13.
to make. He said, "You won't be the first person I made disappear." And then he goes into a story about how he killed a guy when he was buying weed from a guy behind a bowling alley at age 13, and the guy put his hands on him, and he made him disappear. And they should
Into the
look in the
river.
Chattahoochee River.
No offense to lacrosse, but you just got your story told side by side with Marty Jannetty's Facebook posts.
Yeah, that's
the quick hits.
The first problem here is that Marty Jannetty is that anyone is posting on Facebook, really, but TMZ, the Columbus, Georgia Police Department, has now opened this case. So thanks.
So
Way to go, Marty.
Look for the podcast episode.
Anytime
out there
that-
Yeah,
somewhere.
can't wait for Serial season 4, the Jannetty.
Never a good sign when a retired wrestler's posting anything on Facebook. Like nothing good's
That's
going
it.
to come from that.
That's it.
Undefeated.
High school sports update. Tyler Lee and Tyler High School. Oh yeah, is that Tyler John Tyler? Is that
Tyler
what it
John
is?
Tyler,
So
the
this
very
we're talking East Texas now.
yeah.
East Texas name change.
Which is bigger news, the West Texas team or the East Texas team?
We did mention Midland Lee changing their name a couple weeks
Right,
back, but
right.
now that East Texas Tyler Lee powerhouse, Tyler Lee
big.
Red Raiders,
That's big too.
I'm going to go with East Texas because there's an organization that is still alive and well
Yes,
out in the Piney Woods
which is kind of why I asked.
that
Yeah,
wouldn't be scared to burn any effigies in opposition to this decision. But
interesting.
I would say that from what I found out, the names are that's the bigger joke is that they're going to go from Tyler Lee to like Tyler Legacy.
Yeah, and the issue here,
And then the John
Lee's
Tyler
one part
ones.
of it, but John Tyler is also extremely problematic, and that's the namesake of the town.
Yeah, John Tyler, slave owner, but also I want to say like the
Senator in the Confederacy?
yes,
Something like
I
that.
was trying to think of rank, but that somewhere
Yeah.
along those lines. But
that's a lot of notable names from there. Big powerhouse programs.
mhm. It's not Cedric Benson, that's Midland Lee,
Yeah.
but Errol Campbell.
Earl Campbell,
Earl
Tyler
Campbell.
Rose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mahomes is from the area. He's from
Mahomes
White
is
House.
north of there from White House.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler Lee's won state title. So is John Tyler, one of the greatest Texas high school football games ever. Plano East and John Tyler. So
Oh, yeah.
it is. It sounds ridiculous if you're outside of the state, but it is very interesting to see Texas step in and start really changing things that matter to them.
At what point does White Settlement get a rebrand?
So that was a little different.
Can we reach out to their Chamber of Commerce
I mean,
and Tourism community and see if we can't rebrand for them?
I'm not making excuses for White Settlement.
It's named after a family or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, is it really?
I believe so.
I thought it was given to them by Native Americans.
Oh, I thought it was a family
Which-
of last name White.
Okay.
But again, I'm just reading Google links. I'm not
It
reading
looks
the
bad.
article.
It doesn't look good.
They need to add parentheses. No, not that White.
Yeah, White Settlement's one, I think Will or somebody, anytime he's looking at a map of Dallas or we're going somewhere, he's like, wait, what's White Settlement? I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, man. It's a town that I've never been in. It's outside of Fort Worth, right?
There you go. There's your one hitters.
It's all that matters. Good one hitters. Let's see. Oh, I got an idea. Let's see what everybody's H for.
When my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game, you better look out, Buster. I'm a loose cannon. This is not good at all.
You should have known we're using that.
He's been on vacation, so I haven't texted him. I'm hoping someone will just kind of let him know.
Yeah.
I play a lot of Call of Duty with him. I'm interested to hear his thoughts. I'll just start, and this is going to work in a Combat Sports Minute as well. We've got Stipe and DC. 3, which
Oh yeah.
I said 2 weeks ago I didn't really care to see this fight, and now I do care to see it. I'm going to completely backtrack. I'm excited for it.
I'm all in. Stipe. Whenever Stipe fights, that's a calendar fight for me. That's one. The moment it gets announced, I put that as
Greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah, he's my guy. I'm looking forward to it. The first 2 have been interesting. The third one should be good too. They're fighting in a smaller octagon, which some believe will give DC a bit of a advantage. I will be at a wedding, which I'm looking forward to very much.
Sounds like it.
Yes, and hopefully I can watch this cage fight from the back of.
How many eggplants?
Since I'm going to be watching on somebody's cell phone in the back of a wedding, it's closer to 2.5 or 3 eggplants out of 5.
I'm 3 birthday cakes out of 5 on this.
If we were pre or post COVID, and the lads, the whole squad, we were posted up somewhere eating some wings, this is a full 5 eggplant.
Dude, your crib is my favorite place to watch
that means a lot, man. We've watched some great cage
combat
fights.
event.
Yeah.
Do you remember we watched DC Stipe 2 together at Woodrow's
Yes.
with Dan?
Yeah.
Dan lost a significant sum of money.
It was fun.
The place erupted too. It's so fun. There was jiu-jitsu clubs in there that were all wearing
Yeah.
shirts.
Oh, man.
It was a very threatening atmosphere.
Wasn't Dan at a fight at your place one time and he watched it and he lost money? He goes, "This was rigged." Get up. He got up and just left immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one time
he
I think
threw that. I'm out of here.
I think we had pizza or something, and he just left. He didn't say thanks. He didn't clean up. I think he left a 6-pack and just walked out.
We had
the door.
Zaw.
And we did Zaw one time. But you're right. There's something about watching a cage fight in a sports bar. It's not really my favorite group of people, but it is exciting, and there's no way to replicate that during COVID times.
It's
you're always on the edge of something bad happening.
It's like mutual assured destruction because there's so many alphas in there that it almost cuts the tension because it's dude, there's so many meatheads in here. No one's doing anything. Nobody's doing it. It's not like just one happens to get in there and mixes it up. But I'll be watching it probably at home. I don't know. Your place is not going to happen. So
yeah, UFC is, for some reason, I feel like UFC is less tribal in nature than boxing. If you go, boxing matches seem to bring a tribalistic thing out of people in a way that UFC doesn't necessarily.
So you get Connor involved.
That's true. That's a whole nother.
What are you trying to say about the Irish?
You know what I'm trying to say.
KJ, what do you H for?
It's like picking your favorite kid this week, I feel like. So aside from the Stars starting their playoff run, I'll probably tune into that because who knows how long that could be. I may try to dip my toe into the UEFA Europa League quarterfinals this week just to see what's going on there. I don't know shit about it. I'll admit that, but I'm not afraid to watch.
Okay. How many eggplants?
I'm going to go 4 soft eggplants. Yeah. 4 steamed eggplants.
Just a semi eggplant?
Yeah. 4 semi eggplants.
That's okay. Dylan, how many semi-eggplants for whatever you're H for?
I'm semi-H to see how the college football discussion progresses over the week.
That's
I think.
meta.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nothing else is really tipping the scales for me. But yeah, I just want to see what happens. Some of the decisions need to be made fairly soon, right?
Some would say it's a battle of the minds.
I'm
Sure.
also a little bit H for the last 2 spots in the Western Conference playoffs. Each team has 2 or 3 games left.
We got a play-in, right?
And then plus we'll have a play-in, which really in the grand scheme of sports, far less meaningful than the future of college football. But I am excited to watch some hoops this weekend.
And I'm rating my H level at 2 very firm eggplants. 2 out of 5. So not crazy,
Is
but
too
they are
firm better than 4 semi?
they're hard ass eggplants though.
Okay.
Unlike KJ's.
Like hole in the mattress style stuff.
Well, you said it,
Okay.
not me.
More combat sports minute. We had Derrick Lewis tying the all-time heavyweight KO record. He looked good.
And then had to take a shit afterward.
Apparently, he had to take a duke,
It happens.
a post-round duke.
I mean, you saw this clip, right?
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. He's trying to go viral.
He's an
here,
Instagram
right?
guy. He's big on Instagram.
Yeah, I think he's got over 1 million
Rogan-
followers.
Where would you be able to see this clip on Instagram?
At Too Much Dip Podcast on Instagram. We also put it on the Twitter at Too Much Dip with 2 P's on Twitter.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the clip, he's standing by. They're doing the interviews sort of in split locations now because of COVID. And you can clearly go, all right, we're here with Derrick Lewis after he's now tied. And the guy goes into like a pretty long question. And Derrick Lewis like looks off camera and goes, I got to take a shit. And it just seemed like he's trying to go viral. And I respect it.
He is the my balls were hot guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he received quite a bit of notoriety for that moment.
You had hot balls.
He also was a post-game at Lil Woodrow's in Houston guy.
That's
Or
right.
After party at Lil Woodrow's after a fight.
That was after a fight he
Love
definitely should not have won. But still, dude, he's one of the more entertaining guys. I mean, probably the most
Texas on
entertaining
top.
guy.
Oh, yeah.
He comes out to Fat Pat every time. I love it.
At the end of the interview, they were like, well, that's 2 in a row for Derrick Lewis. Whoa. That's 3 in a row. And I just loved it.
Yeah.
Most knockouts in UFC history, apparently.
Is it the most? I wasn't sure if it was the tie.
I think that's what led into the question.
Yeah.
That was the leading part of that.
He's got quite a resume.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going to happen with DC and Stipe, but got to think that belt's going to be. Both of those guys are about to retire, is what I'm trying to say. So
there's rumors. Yeah.
He is about a fight away from that, I think.
okay. Oh, this is combat sports. We got Rogan. Unofficially, but officially moving into Austin.
He's building
with a studio
in
at the
Texas.
Have
you
on
confirmed this?
I have talked
Multiple
to
sources.
Onnit employees. I have contacts. It is happening at Onnit.
Wow. Okay, I did not. Maybe we're breaking some news here.
We talked about it on
It's out
Circling
there.
Back.
If you know where to look, it's out there.
That's
it's
wonderful.
at on it.
I'm not naming names, but a guy you and I both know, confirmed.
Great. I'll just say this one other thing about Onnit. I had a fists exhibition there about 2 years ago now,
I was there.
and a friend of mine who was there as well
I watched
texted
it.
me last week asking if I could get him a promo code to save on some supplements. And I was like, I cannot do that. I am not an Onnit employee, nor have I ever been. It was very strange.
You're not an influencer? They have an
walk through
influencer
that-
program.
You walk through that building and no one's even going to recognize you.
Well, I don't know. Maybe when it comes to association with Onnit, it's Joe Rogan and me. But shouts to Joe
It's
Rogan.
got to be.
God only knows the kooks that are going to be pouring through that gym now.
Oh.
Dude, you're going to see him out there just swinging kettlebells. Just hitting the bag. That's going to be weird.
Oh my gosh.
I can't. I don't want to meet him.
There's
Let
a
me
lot
just say
of proxy content that's going to come out of that it's going to be interesting to see.
Is he
Kinda
gonna
like
end
I
up-
confirmed it. I'm going to look at that account and see who's
I think the chances of him coming on the Wash Media universe are exponentially higher than they're greater than 0 at this point. Just say that.
I think Dylan put it at 1%, which is better than it was. I think that's fair.
From 0 to 1.
I'm excited.
We're trending in the right direction.
All right.
Micah, you ready to run it back? I'm glad that I got that right. I feel bad for cucking it earlier.
He's
Well-
still adding to it.
Oh, he's still ready, so he's not ready.
That's why he's, yeah.
Sorry about that.
This is Micah's premiere segment.
All right, welcome to Run It Back, the segment in which we just recap what we talked about today. Let's start with this. Dave and KJ both smoked something, bitch.
True.
Brooks
Ribs.
Koepka shat the bed this weekend. The squad enjoyed Colin Morikawa's awkward celebration with his girlfriend. Dave wants to know what this means for the big baby drip god, this being the college football season.
A lot of uncertainty. Uncertain times for college football.
KJ says Mel Kiper's human lubricant is game-filled. Dylan is interested that players find themselves in a position of power. Whole squad is on Team Dame. KJ noted that Chandler Parsons brings the drip.
That's true.
Dorn is very pro-bub. Poured up before, that's Blueberry Fago. Dave loves the reckless Leroy Jenkins style attack in baseball this week. The hockey playoffs are set. KJ sent a dude to the hospital with a shot to the head with a Pizza Hut branded hockey stick.
Nice.
Dave,
Not an admission of guilt.
shouts to Marty
Allegedly.
Jannetty. Dave thinks that all lacrosse players look the same. White Settlement.
The ball.
White Settlement is not a good name for a town. We
Sure
can all
isn't.
agree on that.
Sure is not.
Dylan is at 2 hard-ass eggplants waiting to find out about college football.
Oh, yeah.
And Wash Media is trending in the right direction when it comes to Joe Rogan. And that was Run It Back.
You crushed that.
Well done.
I love that segment, Micah. It's good.
It was a good episode.
It's fun
today.
for all.
I had fun. Did you have fun?
I did as well. Good times.
Jeez, man, there's going to be so much going down. Make sure you follow us on social. We'll be your number one source for all Rogan to On It content. I should have just gotten on the Twitter and broken it and like just screenshotted, completely outed my buddy. Been like, look, it's happening. I don't know how many people even care that he's moving to On It, but it's still kind of cool.
We care.
No, people care.
We've been there. I mean, like we did a fist exhibition there. That's like the best event we ever did at Grand X was your fight. Agree or disagree?
Saved by the Brunch was pretty dope.
Saved by the Brunch was good.
Saved by the Brunch too.
1 was fine. Weather didn't cooperate, but 2 is good. 2 is real good. You guys want to?
Well, actually, Day Rage. Day Rage was pretty
Okay.
pretty good.
None of us were there except for Dylan for Day Rage. So that's basically on Dylan.
Oh, my God.
He planned the whole thing.
Can we just not talk about Day Rage, man?
You guys got anything else? You want to plug anything? Mainly Dylan and KJ. I don't know if you had proper time to plug.
Oh, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at KJ Ellis. Ones is the L's. Shout out to the one little dipper out there who's already committed to acquiring and or getting a photo off with the street sign that bears my legal name. So more to come on that.
Big time.
That is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, follow me at DShivery, CHEVERERE. That's Twitter and the Gram. Holler at
Okay.
me.
Thank you, Dylan.
Doing good stuff over there.
Micah, as always, thanks.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.